Welcome everyone to our next lesson in the Red Strike train-up sessions. I'm Yves, the designer of Red Strike, and in this video we will be covering zones of control. A ZOC is a zone of control exerted by a unit or stack of ground assault units of at least 3 REs into the surrounding 6 hexes. For enemy units this is called EZOC, enemy zone of control. While no physical counter is present in these hexes, elements of the unit exerting the ZOC are imagined to have taken up positions in the hexes surrounding them. These hexes in a ZOC limited the mobility and supply of enemy units. For example, movement. Units entering an EZOC must stop moving. Units starting the movement phase in an EZOC which have not yet moved may move directly into another EZOC and stop moving. Units may leave an EZOC at the cost of 2 additional movement points. A friendly unit in an EZOC hex does not negate EZOC effects on movement in that hex. First of all, only hexes that contain 3 REs or more exert a zone of control. 1 RE is 1 brigade or 1 regiment. A division like this one has 3 brigades or 3 regiments. It is 3 REs worth. So this unit exerts a zone of control. This unit is also a division, so it has 3 REs. It is exerting zone of control. These units are all brigades, so there is only 1 RE in 1 hex. They don't have a ZOC. So for movement, this means that this unit could move freely through this line, because there is no ZOC. On the other hand, this unit could not move through these, but could move into that hex, and then it has to stop because it is stopped by the ZOC for many of these units. If the unit starts a movement in an EZOC, it may move into another EZOC by spending all its movement allowance. If the unit would be here at the start of the movement phase, it could move out of the ZOC for 2 movement points. So moving from here to here would cost 3 movement points, 1 for the clear hex and 2 for exiting the zone of control. This is a headquarter. It counts for 0.5 RE, so it does not exert a ZOC. The unit could move further. In some games, friendly units negate the effects of ZOC. Not in this one. So, for example, this unit could move down here. By entering that hex, it enters the EZOC of each of these units, so it has to stop. EZOCs and retreat. Retreating units must avoid entering an EZOC. If the only retreat path is through an EZOC hex, the unit takes 1 hit for each such hex. A friendly unit in an EZOC does not negate EZOC effects on retreat in that hex. In this example, the 2 Soviet divisions are attacking this lone brigade. It gets a retreat result. And there is no hex where there is no EZOC. So even if it would retreat into this hex, it would still be in the EZOC. It would still take 1 hit. EZOCs and advance after combat. Advancing units do not stop their movement upon entering an EZOC. What does this mean? We see here 3 Soviet divisions in a defensive position. They all exert a ZOC around them. Now these 3 units of the US attack the middle one, and they get the result of 3 hits and a retreat. The Soviet player decides that he wants to exchange 1 of the hits versus 1 retreat. So he first takes 2 hits, now he takes the first retreat, and the last hit that he didn't want to take, he takes it as a retreat. Advancing units may always advance into the hexes that have been liberated, and in this case, the EZOC, as this is an advance after combat, the unit may move even further, even though it entered the ZOC. Even though in normal movement it would have had to stop here. But in this case, advance after combat, it may move on. EZOC and supply. Lines of communication or supply lines may not be traced through an empty EZOC hex. A friendly unit of any size in an EZOC hex negates EZOC effects on supply in that hex. This is the only exception where a friendly unit negates an EZOC. For example, In the supply phase, this unit would be out of supply because it cannot trace its supply line through empty EZOC hexes. The EZOC, as explained, these are EZOC hexes, these are EZOC hexes, so it cannot trace a supply line. This unit would be found out of supply. On the other hand, if this unit would be here, then the supply could be traced through that unit to the back of the front line. Then the unit would be in supply. Zones of control and terrain. ZOCs do not extend into impassable terrain or across impassable hex sites or across major rivers. This example of a unit, but this is an impassable hex, impassable. So this unit only exerts ZOC into these hexes. This unit exerts ZOC into all of these hexes, but not into this one, as this is a major river, compared to the small rivers here who do not impede ZOC.